Joined now by Marty Biron. So Matthews spoke, Berube spoke. The message was clear, Marty. There's no timetable for Austin Matthews' return. How concerned are you about this lingering injury?
I'm very concerned because the fact that there's no timetable. You know, when somebody gets hurt, it's 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 12 weeks. It's 10 days, right? And there's always a timetable. Even if it's a shoulder injury, a knee injury. Look, Ovechkin breaks his leg. They're saying it's going to be 6 to 8, and boom, you know it's healed. He's moved on. There you go. But with Matthews, there's no timetable. We don't know what the injury is, and we don't know if this will happen again. Look, he came back from that same injury after taking some time off. He played, and now he's off again. So to me, that is the concerning part of not only is there no timetable, I don't think we know what the remedy is for Matthews to be able to be 100%. Will he ever be 100% this year, or does he need an extended period of time to be able to get to that? So that's the concern for me with Matthews. If the Leafs were out there saying it is a shoulder, a rib, a back, whatever, upper body, right? If we knew exactly what it was, we could have a better idea of what the timetable would be. But I think internally, they probably have a better idea. They don't want to let anybody to know. But that's very concerning in that point alone, is that they don't want to tell anybody, because I don't think they know for sure what is happening and how to remedy it and how long it will be for Matthews.
And now, Marty, we're into January, and you look ahead just over a month from now, February 13th, Team USA plays its first game in that Four Nations face-off. So should Matthews be on the ice for that team, or should he make the decision right now to just skip that event?
Well, he doesn't have to make the decision right now, but I would say now and in a week or two from now, I'd say no, you're not playing in the tournament. Look, the Olympics are in a year from now. If you want to go to an international stage, Team USA, big stage, that's the Olympics. Right now, it's about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and really, it's about Austin Matthews and being 100%. Like, this is going to be condensed schedule. You play your games, you move on, and then you have the rest of the regular season. I think it's going to be a lot for Matthews. Again, if we knew what the injury was, and we knew that in a week from now or 2 weeks from now, he'd be 100% and there would be no concern, I'd say, okay, like, you have that conversation, you can chance it, but we don't know. And in 3 weeks from now, a month from now, he may be 80%. Is that the risk that you're going to take? Go at it 80% and then come back and miss more time with the Toronto Maple Leafs for the NHL push to the playoffs? I don't want to see that happen. And I understand that this is a big tournament and the first time that is going to be best on best in a long time. But don't take the chance. Wait for the Olympics in a year from now.
Yeah, and we know there's a big advantage as well for winning the Atlantic Division. Matching up with a wild card would really help the Leafs' path. They're tied for top spot right now, Marty, but if Matthews misses extended time here, do you think the dream of winning the Atlantic is dead for Toronto?
No, it's not dead. And the reason it's not dead is because Austin Matthews has missed 14 of the 38 games that the Leafs have played so far in the regular season, and they're at the top of the Atlantic Division. Marner has been fantastic. Nylander, Tavares have been great. The depth has been scoring, right? Like we see Kampf and Lawrence scoring in the last game. The defense, Tanev, they have played such a brand that it has not just like Stolarz and Woll have been great, but the team in general has played great. So I'm looking at the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they've been able to do it so far without Matthews. I think they've found that recipe. Look, having Austin Matthews would be great, and it would help to win the Atlantic. And you're right, winning the Atlantic, winning a division is so important. Last year, 3 of the division winners made it to the conference finals. That is a big advantage to win the division and move on in the playoffs.
Next up for the Leafs, another date with the Islanders. That's Thursday night, but once again, they'll be without Austin Matthews.
The Leafs center dilemma: who can strengthen the roster? If you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan like me, you know the team's center depth has been a constant concern this season. With Austin Matthews set to return from a mysterious upper body injury next week, the excitement of having our star back is palpable. However, there are still serious issues to address in the center position to keep the team competitive and, of course, fuel our playoff dreams. David Kampf, a key piece in the center rotation, is sidelined with a lower body injury. As if that weren't enough, Kaye Jarnkrok is still recovering from surgery, leaving another gap in the lineup. Max Domi, expected to be a versatile asset, has been placed on injured reserve, further aggravating the situation after missing consecutive practices due to lingering pains. To sum it up, the Leafs are missing 4 functional centers, and the pressure to act is mounting. James Myrtle, a respected Leafs analyst and contributor to The Athletic, highlighted a series of potential trade targets to address this dilemma during his appearance on the J.D. Bunke's podcast. Among the names mentioned, 2 stood out: Nick Jugstad and, for the nostalgic fans, a possible reunion with Ryan O'Reilly. Jugstad seems to be Myrtle's favorite, and for good reason. The player, who signed a 2-year deal with the Utah Hockey Club last offseason, carries a manageable $2.1 million cap hit, which is essential for a team as salary cap-strapped as the Leafs. Additionally, standing at 6 feet 6 inches and weighing 205 pounds, he would bring not only physicality but also consistent offensive contributions. Jugstad is the most viable option for the Leafs right now, Myrtle stated on the podcast. And he's right. Experienced and versatile, Jugstad has played for several teams, including the Florida Panthers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Minnesota Wild, and Edmonton Oilers, and could quickly adapt to the Leafs' dynamic. With an affordable contract and a solid track record, he offers a practical solution without sacrificing too many future assets. However, it's impossible to ignore the possibility of a Ryan O'Reilly return. Yes, we know he chose the Nashville Predators last summer in search of a quieter environment, but the Leafs management still holds him in high regard. The 2019 Stanley Cup winning captain with the St. Louis Blues is precisely the type of player any contender would love to have on their roster. However, the cost of bringing him back would be steep, both in terms of trade assets and cap space adjustments, as Nashville or a third team would need to retain part of his salary. I don't think the O'Reilly scenario is entirely out of reach, Myrtle said, showing that there's optimism within the organization. However, there are doubts about how much it's worth investing in a 33-year-old player, even with his impeccable credentials. Meanwhile, cheaper internal options like Steven Lorentz, Connor Dewar, Pontus Holmberg, and Fraser Minten have been mentioned. But let's be honest, these names might serve as short-term stopgaps, but they're far from offering the stability and impact the team needs. The pressure is all on GM Brad Treliving. He knows that despite the Leafs' solid performance so far, the center position is crucial to sustaining any championship aspirations. With the trade deadline approaching, Treliving has likely intensified his efforts to finalize a deal. And we, the fans, are eagerly awaiting good news. For now, all we can do is trust that the team can weather this tough phase and hope a solution, whether it's Jugstad, O'Reilly, or another name, arrives before things spiral out of control. After all, as we all know, the Leafs don't have the luxury of wasting another season with a promising but incomplete roster. The time to act is now. The Leafs center dilemma, expanding on the potential solutions. The Toronto Maple Leafs, amidst another promising yet tumultuous season, face one of their most pressing challenges, addressing a depleted center lineup that threatens to derail their momentum. While the return of Austin Matthews is a beacon of hope, the broader picture remains dire, requiring urgent action from the front office. With Kampf, Jarnkrok, and Domi sidelined, the team's depth has been stretched thin. The immediate impact is clear on both ends of the ice. Defensively, the Leafs are struggling to suppress opposing top lines without reliable two-way centers. Offensively, puck distribution and power play setups have been less dynamic, as the makeshift lineups lack the same chemistry. This imbalance underscores the necessity for reinforcements. Nick Jugstad, as highlighted by James Myrtle, presents the most realistic trade option. His affordable contract and towering physical presence align perfectly with the Leafs' needs. Beyond his imposing stature, Jugstad brings versatility. He can play both center and wing, a flexibility that would allow head coach Sheldon Keefe to adjust the lineup dynamically. However, acquiring Jugstad isn't without complications. The Utah Hockey Club, formerly the Arizona Coyotes, is currently rebuilding but may still demand a premium return for their experienced forward. The Leafs will likely need to part with a mid-tier prospect or draft pick to make the deal work. With their prospect pool already thin, Treliving faces a tough decision. Another name that excites fans and analysts alike is Ryan O'Reilly. The former Conn Smythe winner and Stanley Cup champion has a proven track record of elevating teams in high-stakes situations. His leadership during his brief stint with Toronto last season left a lasting impression. Yet, the Predators have little incentive to move him unless the offer is overwhelming. Should the Leafs pursue O'Reilly, it would almost certainly require a multi-asset package. A first-round pick and a promising young player like Nick Robertson might need to be part of the conversation. Additionally, Nashville would have to retain salary, a process that often involves a third-party team to facilitate. The logistics are challenging but not insurmountable. Internal options like Pontus Holmberg and Fraser Minten offer short-term relief but lack the experience needed for a deep playoff run. Holmberg has shown flashes of potential, but his limited NHL exposure raises questions about his readiness for a consistent role. Minten, while promising, is still developing and would be better served continuing his growth in the minors. A wild-card option could be exploring European leagues or waiver claims to unearth an overlooked talent. teams like the Vegas Golden Knights and Colorado Avalanche have found gems in unconventional ways, and the Leafs scouting department may need to cast a wider net to uncover an affordable, immediate solution. Another factor complicating the Leafs' decisions is the looming salary cap crunch. With Matthews' extension set to kick in soon, Toronto must be mindful of every financial commitment. Adding a high-priced center now could limit flexibility during the off-season, forcing Treliving to juggle short-term needs against long-term sustainability. Trade timing will also play a pivotal role. Acting quickly could stabilize the team and prevent further slip-ups in the standings, but it may come at the cost of negotiating leverage. Alternatively, waiting closer to the deadline could yield better deals as selling teams grow more desperate. The risk, however, is enduring several more weeks of uncertainty. Sheldon Keefe's role in navigating this storm can't be overstated. His ability to extract maximum effort from an injury-riddled lineup will be crucial. Keefe has already experimented with unconventional line combinations, but the lack of true centers limits his tactical options. A new acquisition would provide the stability he needs to implement a more structured game plan. The Leafs locker room has remained resilient through adversity, with veterans like John Tavares and Morgan Rielly stepping up as vocal leaders. However, even their efforts may not be enough to overcome the absence of key personnel. Reinforcements are not just a luxury, they're a necessity. For fans, the anxiety is palpable. After years of playoff heartbreak, this season feels like another chapter in the saga of unmet expectations. Yet, there's cautious optimism. The team has shown glimpses of brilliance, and the addition of a solid center could be the missing piece that transforms them from contenders to genuine threats. As the trade rumors swirl, one thing is certain: the next few weeks will be critical in shaping the Leafs season. Whether it's Bjugstad, O'Reilly, or an unexpected name, the decision made by Brad Treliving and his staff could define not just this campaign, but the team's trajectory for years to come. For now, we wait, hopeful that the Leafs will seize the moment and finally deliver on their immense potential. Will the Leafs make their move? As the speculation intensifies, the Leafs fan base is holding its collective breath, waiting for signs of a breakthrough.